mention some size. Yeah, that'll do. Just a lot of paperwork back in the cage. A lot of paperwork there. Adult hand feet are only, guys. We've got them both set up, so that's good. They might chase each other, but we'll see. Well then, guys, we'll kick it off. How are we today?
Good.
Haven't had a crowd this big for a long time. Good to see, good to see. Good news is we've got a lot of hungry crocodiles as well. Some of the female crocodiles here already putting on a bit of a show for us. So I'd like to welcome you here. My name's Drew. This is Matt. We're the Croc Feeders. 11 AM crocodile feed goes for about 35 or 40 minutes. You will make your 11:45 boat. We will have a look at both types of crocodile here in Australia, starting with the salties, which is this bunch. Yeah, she's nervous, that female. Cut her off. Too late. No, it's fine. We'll get her out again. So we'll start with these ones. They look like they got a bit of go on them. Then we'll head down to the freshies, guys, and feed them as well. I'll just see, while this crocodile's half interested here, if they want to have a bit of a chop at something, let's give them something to target. Come on. No, you want to get out, don't you? You're nervous. You're out of your comfort zone. You're worried about Xena. Yeah, she's a little bit worried. Alrighty, so what we have in here, guys, there's about 20 of them in here. They're all salties. You can't mix them with others. They don't play nice with other species. Right, so they're all salties. Captive raised, no wild caught crocs in here. We do have a few wild caught crocodiles, guys. We've got some on display, the big fellas, particularly the males, and we put about 4 or 5 younger males in the main lagoon that they've been trapping locally over the last couple of years. The most recent one, guys, you wouldn't believe it, he came from Port Douglas. His name's Dougie. Dougie is a bit of a thug too. He's 3.8 metres, he's a bit of a unit. You know what Dougie was doing? Dougie was hanging around the Sheridan Mirage golf course. Dougie even jumped out at someone. So that's a little bit what we call naughty. So Dougie was trapped and brought here. He lives in that main lagoon and he makes trouble even in there. We've got 4 or 5 of them. But these ones here are all captive raised. What we've been working with here, guys, are females. These are all the females. And I must admit, some of them are pretty big. Like, I wouldn't like to fall in, even with this bunch. I think that might be the end of you. Like old Medusa here and Madonna, these animals are probably over 3 metres and just on. They are big females, guys. I certainly wouldn't want to be bitten by them. Very few people in the wild have been killed by female crocodiles. I think it's only 2. But nonetheless, it can be quite dangerous. The males, however, are much bigger. We've only got 1 male in here. He's over here. Now, we only put him in here yesterday. We had another male in here, but we weren't happy with his performance, were we, Matt? So we thought he's just not doing enough of the show, so we swapped him. Swapped him over. Now, it is quite a traumatic experience, but I see my mate here is ready to go. I'm not going to feed him, though, because if I feed him here, he'll never come in here for us, right? But he's over here waiting, guys, and I am surprised. Because like I told the crowd before, this crocodile was in another pen. At 2:30 yesterday, about 5 of us went there with a plan, put a snout rope on him, pulled him out of the water, drugged the sucker with midazolam, tackled him, tied him to a board and carried him round here at 3:30. And here he is today, ready to feed. I'm impressed. He definitely takes his cement powder. And he's also living up to his namesake, guys. This crocodile's here, his name is Chopper. And he's actually named after Chopper Read, ex-criminal here in Australia. So he's actually come good. I'm surprised. He's ready to go. But we'll see. He's got to learn to come around here for sure. But we'll do a bit of action with these females. I might actually get Matt to jump out and hand feed this one now. Yeah, she'll come back out again. She's pretty full on. I'll do a bit of jaw slapping over here. Got a bit of going here today. A bit of bamboo as well. You jump in the water. There's nothing in the water now. You're nervous about getting in there, aren't you? Crocodiles. So Matt will bring her out. She's usually pretty full on. Ooh, come on. Look at you. You're a big one. Another big fella. Ooh, yeah. Oh, trouble in the camp. Headbutt. Yeah, there's a high hierarchy, guys, we've seen it already, more dominant, less dominant, but they will have their little disputes. Usually the female's not too bad. The males, however, guys, are much more, they actually get into territoriality. They're much bigger. And to give you an idea, I think I read a figure the other day, guys, that 80% of the males that live in the Northern Territory that are over 4 metres are missing digits, feet, limbs, jaws, and covered in scars. Like that female croc is right there, Matt. Go a tad deeper, mate, and you'll have her. Actually, she might be coming left on you. Bring it up, Matt. We'll see if she'll come out. Oh, I just knocked her hand for this one. No? Try again. Give her. She's got to see it. Because she came out once already. She might be a bit funny. Oh, you've got her attention now. Here we go, here we go. Yeah, she's a good hand feeder, guys. This is probably the most dangerous activity we do. Don't stuff it up. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, you stuff it up as you move.
Get in her face, mate.
Oh, really?
Step back off her, Matt. Let it settle. See if this one wants to feed as well, mate. Give her another feeder coming in here. Let's coming in as well. Could be a problem. Should be alright. Actually, got all 4 of them there. Good work. Should be right. It's all going according to plan. Come on, Matt. Here we go, here we go. Come on, jump up.
I think my son was going off to work playing
Oh, come on. Try Madonna here. Matt, look around and try Madonna, see what she's like for hand feeding. No one's ever hand fed her much. Be careful. Pretty good. In the cage. Thank you very much, Matt.
Wow.
Yeah, they can do a lot of damage, guys. We have to be careful, especially of late, guys. I mean, there was a bit of an incident a little bit further south of Townsville. Unfortunately, one of the zookeepers feeding. Just a small mistake, really. 2.5 metre female only. 2.5 metres. That's 3 metres, much bigger. It got under a guard while they were feeding it, guys, from what I understand. Got in under a guard, actually grabbed her on the arm. And I'm surprised. I've never seen a female crocodile inflict such injury. She rolled, she broke the bones here and broke the bones here and almost took the hand off, guys. So they can do a lot of damage. We have to be quite careful. Of course, we've never had anything like that happen here. Gone close, but nothing like that's ever happened. No, we'll chuck out a little bit more food here. Crocs are right on the ball today. Alrighty, so let's go through a little bit of basic biology with them, guys. Of course, here in far northern Australia, what we call this species of crocodile, guys, is the salty. That's what we call them. And just so you understand, one of the key concepts that applies to these animals, I believe, is the word adaptations. Everyone's got them to use some in local environment, but the crocodiles seem to have a lot. It's one of the things that we find very interesting about them and probably makes them such a success story on this planet. So we'll start with the more impressive ones. So take my mate Xena here, or Madonna. For a start, these animals in here, guys, they have one of the most, in fact, they have the most complex cardiovascular system on this planet. This is Xena here. So Xena here has the most complex cardiovascular system on this planet, guys, and one of the aspects of this is that Xena is the only reptile and the only, people say cold-blooded, but let's go with ectothermic animal, that actually has a 4-chambered heart like us and birds. Very different like that. Some people suggest that may even reflect warm-blooded ancestry. Very controversial sort of thing. But with this heart of hers, guys, she also has a couple of valves that no one else has as well. So what happens when Xena drops under the water? Apparently one of these valves closes, or at least constricts. So as the blood comes back from the body, and usually you'd send it to the lungs, wouldn't you, to get reoxygenated, but of course you're underwater, so what Xena does, that valve closes, That stops that blood going. It's redirected back out through the body because it's still got a bit of oxygen, and it goes mainly to the heart and brain, the two organs that need the most oxygen. Combine that with studies on alligators that suggest that these animals can drop their heart rates down to 3 beats a minute when they dive under. And if you're wondering how long they can stay underwater for, guys, there was a freshie the other day that a couple of scientists were trying to catch, and that sucker went to the bottom of his pond for 422 minutes on a single breath. That is just under 7 hours. And that's probably one of the adaptations that allow them to do that. They are polyphyodonts, which means Xena here replaces her teeth approximately every 2 years, one at a time. So she always has a very, very good set of teeth. Any damage, and you can see how damage would occur, will accelerate this process, enabling her to always have a very good set of teeth. 40 or 50 sets, it's believed they go through. Whoa, got a piece, you're not getting the whole thing though. There you are. Little bugger. And one of the other adaptations that Xena would have, guys, she's got modified salivary glands, which are in her tongue. They now act as salt excreting glands, which means that saltwater crocodiles can live in salt water. They can even live in estuaries, guys. Estuaries apparently are very, very salty because you've got a smaller volume of water, particularly with evaporation, so very salty. And they can live down there long enough for barnacles to grow on their skin, which takes months, and they die within hours if they go in fresh water. So some of the crocs with barnacles on them, been in salt water for months and months and months. But they can live in fresh water as well. This also allows them to travel. These guys have the biggest distribution on this planet of any crocodile, all through the Pacific Asiatic region. You can see them off the coast here, swimming along. People see them on offshore islands and sand cays, and some people just see them in the middle of nowhere, floating around. And to give you an idea, there was a crocodile that swam out to an island where they'd never seen crocodiles, and to get there, he must have swum at least 1,350 kilometres. It's a long way. Keep in mind, I strongly suspect any crocodile swimming 1,000 k is probably what we call in scientific terms, lost. You know, one of the other adaptations they have, guys, they've actually got magnetoreceptors. That bird's probably got them too. They can actually navigate as well, hundreds of kilometres. Alrighty. Bit of jaw slapping from you, Matthew. I'll do a little bit over here. Yeah. We don't feed them a great deal of food, guys. Like, the crocodiles don't need much. Xena here probably weighs about 150 kilos. Yeah, she's not called Madonna for nothing. Take Madonna here, guys, 3 metres, probably 150 kilos. If Matt was to give her half a chicken this week, she'd be fed, and she could easily go for 6 months, eat nothing. They don't need a great deal of food. Works well if you happen to be an ambush attacker, relying primarily on opportunities on the edge of the water. Best way to be. You can sort of hang around and wait for your chance to come up. Speaking of which, I'm sure most people are aware. Woo, that's pretty high. That's a little bit high, that one. I'm sure, especially in light of recent events, the crocodiles, of course, can be friggin' dangerous. Right, people do, and even locally, get killed occasionally by the crocodiles, right? Now, of course, I'm sure most people are aware what people are doing when they're attacked, right? They're usually swimming with them. And statistically speaking, you're not going to believe it, but statistically speaking, you know who swims with crocodiles the most here in Australia? It's actually local Aussies. Yeah, it's local Aussies who do that stuff. And every time you ask locals, what they usually say is they say, tourists. Particularly Germans, apparently. So I looked it up because I love to get my facts straight. And you know, on record, as far as I can determine, there's only been one German person killed by a crocodile here in Australia, and she was told she'd be right by an Aussie. For which he got in big trouble. It was organised tour. Now, unlike the other day, it's usually Aussie males. Yeah, it's usually guys between my age and his age, inclusive. So 50 to 25 are the dudes that swim with crocodiles. Lately, most of these fatal attacks, guys, have been in the Northern Territory. So some people have actually been jumping into the major rivers up there that have like 10 to 15 adult crocodiles per kilometre. So me and Matt here, we're big on psychoanalysing. We said, why would you do that? And we said to ourselves, we're thinking the first thing you're going to have to tell yourself, guys, is, she'll be right. You'd have to tell yourself that, wouldn't you? Sometimes, what are they, confirmation psychology? A little bit of reinforcement as well. Me and Matt have discovered, guys, mainly through extended research, that alcohol helps reinforce this philosophy. It really does. So, you know, a little bit of common sense says maybe not a good idea, which is probably why 60% of the fatal attacks have been while people were swimming with them in the dark. And in they go. Now, I don't know if Zena will do this, but what happens with the old crocodiles, guys? People start swimming. Crocodiles, very good vision day or night, very good ability to hear, better than ours. They drop under, they head over where they last saw you, just like I assume Zena's doing. They've got pressure receptors, so if you're out there splashing around, I think she's there. They will find you. They'll just swim up to you, and they'll bite you, and they bite, well, pretty hard. In fact, to tell you the truth, guys, as we've heard already, there are very few, actually no, they bite the hardest of all animals on this planet. Nothing bites harder than large crocodiles, guys. The bigger they are, the harder they bite. We're looking at a couple of tons of applied force. Yeah, that's a good one. And of course, guys, once they secure you with these incredibly big jaws and big conical teeth, they get hold of you. You know what they do then, of course, right? Dive! And I'll tell you now, guys, most of the people attacked by males from chopper size, which is 4 metres and up, they ain't alive. Very few people survive a predatory attack from a mature male estuarine crocodile. Most of those people end up dead. In fact, I'm talking about 99.5% of them. Alrighty. What we're going to do here, we'll chuck out a little bit more. Just jaw slap them a bit. You're not getting fed there, mate. You've got to come over here. Some food? Come on, chop chop. Nice. Alright guys, now before we chuck out any more chicken at all, is there any questions on the crocodiles? Don't be shy, we love a challenge, don't we, Matt? And I can tell you lately, guys, we've had some visitors, what I would call, put in the effort for us. Just to give you an idea, Matt had a guy ask him the other day what the decibel is when they shut the mouth. Question number one, we didn't know. And the second one is a few weeks ago, I had a guy ask me, guys, even better, going the whole 9 yards, what's the carbon footprint of a crocodile? We didn't know that one either, but this time we weren't going to get cooked, so we looked it up. You know, me and Matt looked it up. You know what we discovered? We discovered that based on the amount of research done on that, no one, apart from that guy on this planet, actually cares. Right? Who would have thought? But there's a brand new crocodile book out. I'm talking 800 pages, guys. It was written by academics. I swear there's not one word in there less than 10 letters. Some words have the entire alphabet. I've read the entire book. Matt here, I think, has looked at the front page with the crocodile picture. Is that right? Take it in quite a bit. Yeah, mate, kick it off. Now, how can they jump out of the water, you know what I mean? All right, locomotion, aquatic locomotion. All righty. Well, you've seen pretty much what they can do. The bigger